getting to meet officially the 17th longest hitter in the world. And I don't think he's really going to stop there. I'm excited. Let's get into the video. Guys, how you doing? Welcome back to a brand new video. Simon down here at the Belfry. Jordan Brooks. I'm going to show you a few highlights of this man's career this year. He's only been doing it for a very short period of time, and I'm very excited to meet the guy and have a bit of a range session and ask him a few questions. So I'm not really going to hit that many balls, as I'm pretty sure you want to see what this guy can do. But if you like the video, leave it a like. As always, if you're new, please subscribe, and let's go and meet the unit. Jordan, how are you this evening?
Very well, thank you.
Thank you for inviting me down to the Belfry. It's a lovely evening, and obviously the guys are going to be very excited to see you hit some golf balls. If you want to go and follow this man, please follow him on Instagram and Twitter. I'll leave you the links down below.
Follow.
Exactly. Great year this year, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been a good year, obviously getting to 2 televised events in the States is the highlight of the year, getting a few wins in Europe as well.
I'm going to show you some shots now actually of Jordan on the big screen. I bet you've watched those clips a few times now.
Yeah, I'd like to say no, but to be honest, yeah, if I'm flicking through my phone, I get a little bit bored, I will go through and watch them.
It's very exciting, and as I said to the guys in the intro, you've had an incredible start to obviously 2019, and 2020 is going to be just as exciting.
Yeah, obviously with a good finish at Worlds, sort of frees up my schedule next year, so I can plan ahead and looking forward to a full season.
Jordan, excellent stuff. I think it's about time I show you guys basically this man hitting it, because I've already watched him hit a few golf balls and he's impressive. As I say, obviously I want to get into the game, but this man's very much at the top already. So let's talk in. I'm going to ask this man some questions whilst he hits some golf balls, and let's get straight into the video. Oh dear. Oh well, at least we got it on camera. Content. Talk to the guys about nerves, because as I understand it, it can be nervous hitting those balls, especially as you only got a select few and obviously adrenaline pumping. What was your first event like compared to obviously the TV stuff?
First event, I didn't expect it to be very nervous at all, because obviously from playing professional events and sort of getting used to that. But stepping on the first tee in France last year, I was shaking, could barely tee the ball up. Yeah. And I was just sort of thinking of all the negative things that could happen. Yeah. But yeah, just getting the ball on the tee was hard enough. And then as soon as you get a couple of the way, you sort of groove into it. But it took me a good 3 or 4 events to sort of lose those initial nerves. Yeah. Just more wanting to do well than anything, I think.
And what about when you're on TV? Did you feel any more pressure when obviously the cameras were on, or was it just another event?
Honestly, I felt less pressure on TV, because I feel like in the matches I've had, I was the underdog in all of them, so I didn't put any extra pressure on myself, because I didn't feel like I was expected to win, so I just sort of free-wheeled it, really. That
makes a lot of sense. And it obviously, I mean, I think the nerves are still definitely showed. I mean, for your first few appearances, the results were great, and probably as good as you could expect it. Obviously, winning as a competitive guy as you are would have been great, but still a great showing at both events.
Yeah, no, I mean, going into them, if you'd offered me 3rd place in both, I would have snatched my hand off, so.
Okay, so obviously most long drivers have a multitude of drivers in the bag. Jordan at the moment in his hand has his normal playing driver. I'll let him hit this shot quickly. Jordan, talk quickly about your playing driver and your competitive driver. What's the difference?
So they're both Callaway Epic Flash drivers, both stamped at 5. I have this one up at 6. This is my playing driver, 46 inch, 2X, just to sort of try and keep it in play.
And then this,
ironically, yeah, also an Epic Flash. This one is 5-degree head, but I play it down at 3.
got you.
This one is a 48-inch Paddison Kinetics Velocity LD30 Plus. So that is the boomstick, so it's called. But yeah, 48-inch against 46 and lower loft.
And 48 inches is the longest a driver can be, isn't it, competitively?
Yeah, maximum length. All the drivers are conforming.
And so they can only be 48, and they're not. A lot of people have this misconception. Most people have this conception that you guys are using illegal drivers, but it's not the case, is it? No,
it's absolutely not true. You could buy one of these drivers and use them on the course. Anyone can use them.
Well, I don't think most people could buy them and use them on the golf course, but technically they could try, definitely. Okay, enough warming up. Obviously this is the competitive one, so obviously when you catch one it absolutely goes. What's PB at the moment? What's in competition? What's the longest drive we've hit so far?
Longest competition drive was 429 yards. That was in Russia in July last year.
Was it? Where was wind on that day?
The wind was it was straight down, but it wasn't like gusting.
Yeah.
It was like 10 mile an hour steady, so like the yardages all day were the same sort of distance.
Yeah.
But yeah, we was playing on just a normal golf hole, so it wasn't overly like running. It was just nice warm. It was probably 26, 27 degrees and just a nice steady breeze all day.
And when you hit it, did you know?
Yeah.
Did you know it was gone?
If anyone's watched like long drive clips before.
But it only takes one, so let's see.
It only takes one. That one
and
just enough. And Jordan Brooks, first trip, first win. Let's go!
They celebrate.
A lot of the guys, when they hit a good one,
they know it's going to be, there's going to be out there. Huge. That is huge.
My opinion anyway.
Do you think a lot of people will be doing it next year? Do you think a lot of people would mind, do you know what I mean? Like if you're on the range and someone starts doing it, they'll be like, oh, they're doing it because Carl did it. Yeah. Or do you think not many people actually care and they'll just do it anyway?
No, I think people will start doing it. I think naturally when you see someone who's the best at something,
you're going to try and
you want to try and copy like it. Let's say, I don't know, Tiger Woods 20 years ago, best player in the world. Everyone wants to do like what Tiger did. It's just natural with anything.
But it's growing the game, isn't it? I mean, hopefully in the next year we're going to reach club head speeds that we've never seen possible at the end of the day.
And you're going to try anything you can do to get there as well. Absolutely hammered.
Interestingly, me and Jordan were talking earlier. He was talking about the fact they used to come across the ball quite a lot, and the massive thing for his success, especially this year, is getting that club going more towards the target, a lot more neutral, basically hitting up through the golf ball. A lot of people watching this probably struggle with the slice or come across it. Is there one thing or a couple of things that helped you massively to basically overcome it?
Yes, I used to come like massively over the top and across the ball as like 80% of amateurs do. So you know from the top you see this sort of move.
Yeah, coming across it.
You're chopping wood. So I went and seen my coach Lee Cox down at the Shire, and we spoke about a few things. Obviously the path being one of the most important things. You know, to maximise launch angle, spin rate, those sorts of things. One of the most important things for me as a drill, I used to use a gate drill. So as you can see the ball here, what I used to do is I would put a T-peg down behind and right of the ball, and then in front and to the left. Now if I were to hit either of those tees, it would suggest that my club was coming from over the top here and then slicing to the left.
And then you'd hit both of them on the way through. So
what I used to do with the one tee there and one tee here, it would promote me on the way through to come from like an inside path here, hit the ball, and then follow through down to the right. So, you know, get that push draw going.
And let's be honest, a lot of guys watching this probably have heard of the gateway drill. It's not obviously a new phenomenon, but can you please tell me how much work did you put into it to make it work? Because a lot of people try one thing, they find it doesn't work, so they just give up. How much practice did you put into it?
Honestly, my first lesson with Lee was in February 2018, and then by my first event, which was the first week in April, so let's say 7-8 weeks, I'd got rid of my slice and I had a fairly neutral ball flight. And then by my next event 2 weeks after, so let's say 10 solid weeks, I could hit a draw consistently every ball. And I hit balls, I would say 4 or 5 times a week, and solely doing the gate drill. With the irons, obviously building up with the pace through the irons, and then into the driver, just sticking at it, and then, you know, it gets easy after a few weeks. You stop hitting the tees, and then you start pushing it, which is fine, you know, because you are coming from the inside, and then you learn to sort of release the face, and then you see the ball turning over.
Now, obviously, I'm trying to get into the game of long drive, and I think quite a few people, because I do get messages a lot, they want to get in long drive, they don't necessarily know how to start. Obviously, it's been a big change this year with the European long drive games. Guys, I'm going to leave a link down below and also plug their Instagram page, so please go and check that out, because that's where you can see all the results basically from the events at the moment.
Yeah, go give them a follow. You'll get all the up-to-date content and up-to-date events in Europe, so yeah, that's the best page to go and follow.
And going into 2020, obviously, is a very successful year for the European Long Drive Games. Bigger and better things, and obviously, the more eyes, the more people we can get watching it, the better. So how many events? Do we know how many events basically going into 2020?
The schedule hasn't been released yet, or I don't think it's been confirmed, but after speaking to the organisers, spoke to them 2 days ago, they want 6 events ideally. Just to coincide with the US tour, so none of the events like
clash
each other.
Yeah.
And then also for the guys that are competing on both tours, you know, we're not like overdoing everything.
Of course.
And we want those 6 events to be like really big rather than doing like 10.
And spreading them out.
Yeah, like instead of doing like 10 medium events, we want to do like 6 really big ones with big prize funds, big entries. Yeah.
Brilliant. And obviously, as someone myself that obviously has never competed in an event, never been to an event, can anyone go if they feel like they've got it? They just need an entry fleet, obviously a flight if they need to fly there. But is it as simple as that?
I mean, if the schedule comes out, let's say January time, the events won't start for probably 3 or 4 months, so you can get cheap flight. You can get flights to Europe for 40-50 quid, let's say with your golf club, £100.
Yeah.
But like if you're interested in getting started, you don't have to compete as a professional. You can pay what we call an amateur entry fee, which is normally €50.
So it's cheaper, and it's £3.50 for professionals. Is that right, roughly?
Yeah, about that. So let's say €50, £100 for your flight with your golf clubs, accommodation. We all normally like room with each other, so we make things less expensive.
And it's a good laugh, isn't it? I mean, it's a friendly atmosphere, and I think if you just want to get involved and obviously you're nervous and thinking, am I good enough? You're going to have a good time, aren't you?
Yeah, the camaraderie it's amazing. I mean, my first event, I felt at home after that, speaking to a few of the guys, and yeah, will make you feel at home. But yeah, you know, €50 for an entry fee is not an overly big amount of money, and you will compete with the professionals, so you will be able to compare yourselves. If you do so happen to, you know, get within the prizes, just like normal golf, so you can't win money, but we do have prizes for best amateurs.
Oh, brilliant!
So it's well worth the trip. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic! I have to talk about this man because he's just like me, and I think it's the same as any long driver. When you catch one, he knows, like, everything tenses. I almost feel like he's going to do a backflip. That one, would you say that one was one of the best balls tonight?
If I'm not, probably the second best.
Second best.
Really early on, it was good.
It looked incredible on camera, and guys, I'm hoping the camera's doing justice to the sound, because this is Mr. Consistent here. The sound is phenomenal. This guy in excess of 200 miles an hour ball speed. Oh, he called it. Huge. That is huge. Very good. Mate, you're consistent really, aren't you? Let's be honest.
That's kind of my thing. So
I mean, you
sort of like so fast but yet so slow kind of thing,
yeah,
compared to top guys. But I have to be consistent because, you know, I have to try and fill the grid. If I hit 8 balls, I need to try and hit 4 in the grid. You know, get a good bounce. You know, you might get one that has a bit more or less spin.
Because I think I noticed as well, especially with TV appearances, that you were still hitting it 400 plus, but you still had a good 4 down there already. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Whereas a lot of the guys, there's a lot of OB. I mean, even Kyle, to be honest, 2 of his events that he won this year were on that last ball, that last wonder shot. It's a lot of pressure, but if you're consistently putting the pressure down there, that's got to affect the other person.
Yeah, you know, I think it proves as well that you're not nervous or like affected by anything.
Yeah.
Like if you go first against someone like Kyle or Justin, you know, the top guys, and you don't put in that convincing a performance, they don't really, respect's the wrong word, but they won't really be that bothered about facing you. Whereas if you're sort of known as a guy that's going to fill the grid, hit a lot of
course,
you know, you might get a good bounce. That's sometimes all it needs. Or like you say, I know you get a gust at the right time.
Yeah, it's going to help, isn't it? Especially at those speeds.
Like whereas if you're relying on one, you know, you're relying on a bit of luck as well.
Yeah. So. Rain is starting to come down. This guy is still launching them out there. The one thing I do want to know, because obviously it's very competitive. It's a niche sport. Hopefully long drive is growing. You've recently just got a contract, however, which not many long drivers can honestly say. Yeah. You signed with Callaway. Tell the guys how that happened, why you chose Callaway and everything else.
Obviously, you know, there are probably like 2 or 3 main brands in long drive. Callaway, Crank and Brute. There are a few others. But you know, I've tried all of them. I preferred the Callaway because, you know, it's more of a traditional head, more like a pear-shaped head. And I just felt really comfortable looking down at it.
Yeah.
You know, I felt like I could just consistently keep hitting it. It's obviously a good looking golf club as well.
Yeah. How did you get it? How was there a specific moment that you?
So, after making TV at Fort Jackson, my first event in the States, I spoke to Callaway's head of the long drive team over in the States, and he said he was interested. Gave me a few heads to try out. So then when I got to Rochester, I was using them, loved them. I also won two events in Europe before Rochester with the heads. So yeah, got really comfortable.
Yeah.
And then by Tennessee, I said to him, I was like, what do I need to get one of the bags? I really wanted one of the Epic Flash tour bags. And he said, if you make TV here, you can have it. Missed out in Tennessee, got to Worlds, made it to TV, and John came up to me, shook my hand, and yeah, signed the contract. So
what a great story, and honestly thoroughly deserved, as the guys have seen you hit this evening. So yeah, all to you, mate. I want to say a massive thank you to this man. I hope you guys watched a real long drive competitor hit a golf ball. This guy was very impressive. You did it very well this evening. So thank you for, first of all, coming on the channel. And hopefully there's a lot more of this to come with other guys competing. And obviously a lot of European, Germany stuff coming out next year. So thank you to you.
No problem.
More videos to come. Please go and follow Jordan on Instagram and Twitter. As I said, I've left his links down below. So please do that. And guys, we'll see you later.